I'm Justine. We're here at the browser-based AIE pod. I'm here with Sid from Reducto. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's been an exciting day so far. This is day 2 for me at AIE. It's been a fun time. Decompressing a little bit from my engineering work, but also kind of I'm on call this week too, so juggling a couple things. But it's been fun. It's been fun so far.
Yeah, I'm having a great time having conversations with people. I'm so glad we have a chance to speak. You're at Reducto building a AI document platform for anything document related. And you're a first engineer there, so you kind of see the company shape up. I mean, how are things going? Tell me a bit about what Reducto does.
100%. I think early on we realized this was a very like niche problem, but one very important to solve at this day and age. We've seen, humans are here to stay. We're not getting taken over by AI anytime soon, but we have a lot of physical documents, a lot of unstructured data that needs parsing given our, rise in LLMUs and AIUs, right? And we've seen a lot of different healthcare, legal tech, fintech use cases coming out of getting these documents into some sort of structured format, right? And so Reducto is becoming that primary ingestion layer for a lot of these big enterprises, a lot of the more nuanced, RAG applications, all of that. And so we're
Yeah.
trying to be that one agentic document platform
Love it.
for all of
Love
these
it. Love
all of these
it.
companies out here.
Amazing. I mean, there's so many things about a document that like makes it so complex. I mean, even for me, when I sign like NDAs for like the most simple things for like a contract internship that I have, you have to
100%.
think about like accuracy of parsing the document, volume,
Yeah.
like speed, like all of these different things. What do you think has been the most challenging when it comes to building out this platform with all these like very dinosaur, unstructured data that you're working with?
100%. I think, yeah, like you mentioned, there's growing pains for a lot of our customers across this like holy triangle of, do you want more accuracy? Are you okay with higher latency, or do you want lower latency? And then how expensive can it get? And for us, it's been a constant struggle of where and how can we optimize across those three sort of main points. And over time, I think Reducto has been able to not just hit that accuracy mark. That was one of our sort of sprints to get maximum accuracy across the board. We started out with, one of our first benchmarks was RD table bench, and that was where we had state-of-the-art table parsing performance. But then, sort of expanding that same accuracy across all of the different parts of the document. After that, we sort of worked on our latency improvements, right? Now you're able to get really good, but how fast can you get good, right? And so latency was another thing top of mind. Finally, I think cost is another big one for a lot of our customers. So
Yeah.
they don't want to pay, as much as, whatever the highest, charging sort of solution is. And we want to make it cheap enough for them to sort of still get those accuracy and latency gains alongside reduced costs. And so those are the three things that were sort of challenging as we
Yeah.
went, and we've sort of gotten better at each of those.
Awesome. It's like the classic like triangle of trade-off, right? Like to
Trade-offs.
have one, have less of another. And
Exactly.
especially as these like use cases that even agents can have now evolve. Like I would imagine that like the way these like trade-offs pull like becomes even more and more different as we go on. Like
100%.
even now, like so many conversations at AIE today talk about this new concept of like agent experience. Like how are
Exactly.
agents navigating the web? How are agents parsing documents, sending emails? With kind of what we've seen in the last few months. What do you think the newest, maybe hardest trade-off has been for you guys at Reducto?
With alongside that, with that agent experience, funny enough, just a couple months ago, we started working on this whole new agent experience for Reducto, and so we've been working on something really exciting along that line. But on the trade-off front, we've seen Reducto gives a lot of customizability for a lot of our different customers, right? We try to cater to a wide variety of use cases, but something agents have not been really good at lately have been to, be able to parse a lot of those, different customization options while looking at the kinds of documents that we have. So we've been putting together a lot of, skills, documents, documentation around agent use. And so now you could go to Claude or to, Codex and say, hey, use Reducto to parse this set of documents for me. And it should be able to almost one-shot it now, right? And so that is something we didn't have early on, but now we've actually worked on a lot of optimizations to get all of these agents to do the busy work for you on being able to control those different knobs Reducto offers exactly for the kind of use case a customer brings to that agent. And so that is, I think, a problem we started facing as we got more and more traction from customers who were saying, hey, you have an API, but I want an agent to just one-shot it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the one of the problems we faced early on.
Yeah, because this intelligence layer that you're building turns more into like a machine learning engineering problem than it is
Right.
like, you know, like a basic software, like, oh, let me train your agent to like go
Yeah.
like do this task for me. But it's like, how do we get it to think like a human when like a lawyer has to go through like a 2,000-page document?
Right.
And I know that your team is growing super, super quickly. You guys are approaching like 70 to 80 people now, with a huge machine learning team that's helping to train this model. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you guys run this infrastructure layer in-house and train everything in-house?
100%. I think, as you probably would have guessed by now, data is key as well, right? For Reducto, we have a lot of data labelers. We work with a lot of agencies to hand label really complex data sets. In fact, speaking of data sets, we had a benchmark that just MicroOne just launched just yesterday, making Reducto one of the top player in this long extraction sort of benchmark space, right? And so what we've seen there is it's not just important to label good data, but also to have that really good orchestration layer, right? And orchestration comes from us building really complicated pipelines with different model sort of routing, agent loops, things like that. And on the data front, we've seen there's a bunch, like an abundance of data. We want to not just curate diverse data. We want to get enough samples to cater to any of those different use cases, right? And so along that line, I think there's multiple different things. So not just a clean, diverse data set, also model inference, sort of making sure that is reliable enough to scale, but also making sure that that pipeline of different models is able to, work and generalize across all use cases. So a lot of different moving parts.
Yeah,
to
so many different moving
document.
parts. You guys are growing so quickly.
Yeah.
But also like the space is becoming more saturated and like new players are coming up as model capabilities improve. And love the example that you brought up about benchmarking is like
Mhm.
how do you measure up against your competitors and what do you think sets you guys apart from others in the field?
Yeah, to your point on setting us apart, that in-house set of models that we've been training, like you mentioned, our machine learning engineering team has
Yeah.
grown quite a lot. And every single person is working on a very new, exciting model every single week. We've been testing a different set of models, bunch of different versions across the board. We've seen really good performance, especially on that long extraction sort of front, where your traditional frontier models don't do so well because there's such long documents. I think more complex and long documents is something we've been able to specialize really well in, and we actually outperform all of our other competitors in that sort of space as well, right? And Reducto has been able to bring at a pretty good sort of scale. Again, we get hundreds of millions of pages parsed every single week. So at that scale, being able to not just get accuracy but also scale has been one of the key things. For us, on setting us apart, I think the in-house extraction piece, we've been able to really well sort of orchestrate under the hood. And it's just not just you can get your own model, build your own model and just solve it. There's a lot of nuance that goes into generalizing across different document types. And this micro one benchmark really shows, where Reducto shines across real world document sort of sets. And so that's where we've seen a lot of good performance from Reducto for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, all these long documents are it's a lot, even for a human as much as it is for an agent, right?
100%.
And you guys are really,
Yeah.
really hitting the point on latency and like making sure that every single use case, like from like lawyers to healthcare to I mean, like, what do you think is like the longest kind of paperwork that you guys would get? Yeah.
Oh, I would say we've seen packets like financial
That's
documents.
gotta be crazy. Yeah.
That's thousands of pages. I think at one point there was a customer who came to us with like a 6,000 page document.
That's crazy.
And
Yeah.
they were like, well, this isn't just one document. It's like a major collection of different documents.
Yep.
We have a split endpoint, and that's something that has been very performant lately, where we were able to very accurately split that document into individually unique documents, which then we send downstream for parsing and extraction, right? And so we've seen, crazy. I think on-prem we have some big customers in the legal tech space. They've sent massive documents upwards of 60 to 100,000 pages, and at scale, doing something like that across the board, I think we really shine in terms of our inference, our orchestration, and obviously accuracy as well. So all of that.
Awesome. Looking out into the frontier, into the future, you guys are obviously working very hard to make sure that these, this triangle again of like trade-offs is completely optimized, for
Yeah.
any kind of structured or unstructured data. What's your view in the future of like obviously as I don't know how AGI pilled you are specifically, but like in these enterprise companies, like people are leaning towards writing data in a more structured way, like writing documentation in a more structured way, both on like an internal and an external standpoint. So I don't know, do you think we're moving towards the future in which like humans are always going to be creating unstructured data and there's always going to be a need for documentation? Or do you think one day, I don't know, like is everything going to be more condensed into short form structured data?
To me personally, I feel like, a couple of years down the line, it's either me or my car getting a ticket, right? And even a ticket, as small as a ticket, is still going to be some sort of unstructured data. I will still be walking in, I hope, we'll be walking into a grocery store getting that receipt, right?
Yeah.
Some sort of unstructured data will still exist so long as we're still here, right? But I think more looking into the longer term future, I would think at that point we're still parsing historical data to digitize, right? We've actually found a lot of our customers come in with historical data and forward-looking data as well. But historical data, I think we were researching this earlier. There's billions and billions of archived documents all over the world, and at some point, if we want our LLMs to get really good, we might still need to get that somewhere digitized so they can have a backward looking sort of information database or something like that to look back into. And so for the future, I think we might have less, but so long as humans are here, I think unstructured data is here to stay.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like off topic, but not really. Like, I'm a
Yeah.
history major at school. And so a lot of my time is spent like writing like stories and like writing, things for like educational purposes. And like a lot of that inherently is like good knowledge for the world and to be processed from like human to human. And that's always going to stay unstructured. In my opinion, obviously, I'm very protective of these fields that are like
100%.
inherently like very human. And so I think you're right. Like, so long as there's humans, there's always going to be a need for adapting and translating these very, very human use cases into workflows that make our lives easier rather than replace us.
Exactly. I think I've to be honest, I think I was writing something up a couple days ago and I was like, this feels weird to, write on paper.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that is what the art also is, right? We want to continue writing something. That is something that's going to stay with us for the longer term. And so, yeah, 100%. I think unstructured data is going to exist. Obviously, we want to make our lives easier. So this sort of agentic document processing will sort of supplement that simplification in our lives as well. So both will sort of stay in a more symbiotic sort of relationship,
Like a
right?
harmonious
A harmonious
relationship between the
relationship.
agent and the human brain. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think both will continue to progress in their own way.
Yeah, I mean, at Raspberries, we think the same way. It's like, yes, like humans should be the one, like, creating the task, thinking about like what needs to be done, like for our human, like day-to-day physical life. But it's just like the little tedious things.
Yeah.
You guys are probably like top tier, S tier tedious is probably like my documents and like my financial statements.
All of the different
and
kinds. Yeah.
You guys are S tier simplifying for the agentic transition.
Every
Lots of respect.
every couple months, a customer asks, "What's the messiest you've seen?"
Yeah.
And I think over time, it's gotten hard. It's surprisingly gotten hard for me to demonstrate that is actually a messy document that Reducto hasn't been able to get. And every time I like try to break it, it just continues to work better because we've been iterating so fast on accuracy that it's gotten harder over time to break things. But I'm sure, you know, I have a couple of colleagues of mine. I'm not gonna name names, but messy handwriting I think is a complicated problem to solve, and there's only so much you can do with a doctor's note if you can't understand it. I was just visiting India recently. I got a doctor's note I cannot read, but
Wow.
things like that. I think it's gotten better for humans to just sort of use Reducto as a supplement and
Yeah.
figure out what's really part of their unstructured documents as well. Yeah.
But bullish on the human experience. That's true.
100%.
Well,
Great.
thanks so much for coming on, Sid. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.